Well, how'd it go today out there?
Overall competitive, which is what we talked about, going out there and just playing hard. And one, because you want to see guys compete. Two, you don't want to see any injuries. And if you're playing hard, more often than not at scrimmages, you don't see a whole lot of injuries. So guys were really good that way. I thought the majority of the starters played like starters. I thought majority of the backups played like starters, which is what we wanted. And still too many guys playing like backups. I thought the threes and the young guys were just okay. The defense was good. It was kind of like the best of times out there, Robin Williams versus Dr. Death. I thought the three offense was not very good today. I thought the defense played well, but the young guys needed to step up, and they'll see it on film today. But we're progressing, and guys around them are progressing. So today was really separation day, and we'll look at the film and we'll start deciding, because school starts up here. We have to have our roll call, and we'll figure out the scout teams and who's going to be doing that. Maybe which of these freshmen might have a chance to play, but they got to play well. And I thought today, because it was ramped up a little bit more and more competitive than it was in the first scrimmage, some of the young guys stood out, and a couple were okay, but for the most part you could see the separation, which for your older guys you want to see that because they're playing at a higher level. They got good work in today. It was a lot of live work. We'll see how everybody comes out of it, but now we're really into school mode, and we just put a whole entire season in fall camp. That's really what you do. Then you go back and you recall it, and you continue to keep working those fundamentals or concepts, and you just pull them out piece by piece for each game, and hopefully it works.
So have you avoided any big injuries at this point, or how are you on the injury front?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. It remains to be seen after today. I didn't see anything out there, but guys always walk out. There's probably a shoulder or something like that usually, but they seem pretty clean. They just walk to the training room and go from there.
What's anybody really kind of catching your eye here? Here in fall camp?
Yeah, quite a few guys. Some of the usual suspects out there that have played well, and I think for us too. You say catch our eye. I mean, we're expecting even better performances than some of the guys had last year. I thought Brett has had a really nice camp. He played well today. Tommy has been very consistent at the quarterback position. I think one of the guys on the offensive side, the most improved, I would say, would be Killian Butler. He's just had a really good camp, and he's worked hard. You can see the extra time he spent in the summer really showing up. I think on the defensive side, several guys out there. Tanner Vallejo continues to keep progressing. Ben Weaver's had a solid camp. Joey Martirano, all that linebacker crew. It's been good to see, Jabril and Sam Whitney have been battling at that stud position. That's been good competition that's gone on there. And then the secondary, it's been a mixture. But Chancellor James has been fairly consistent out there, I think, in the back end. Tyler Horton, Ray Ford, and Jonathan Moxie, all those guys have been battling. So I think that's been a really good competition in that area. One of the new faces, Blake Whitlock, he's gotten quite a few reps, and I think he doesn't know everything, but he's actually played fairly well.
So is there another scrimmage on tap, or was this it then?
We won't have another official scrimmage.
Okay.
We'll have another live portion of practice,
Okay.
and we'll do that this next week. So there's just a couple more situational things we want to hit, and we'll try to hit those live. And then we're just going to go out there and just pop and just play one more time before we go out there and get live in the game.
So is next week basically a game week for you without a game? Is that kind of the schedule then when school starts?
Yeah,
or?
so, again, you want to go back and you don't assume anything. You hope that guys understand the schedule, what it looks like, but a Tuesday practice, a Wednesday practice, a normal Thursday, a Friday type practice, just so we've been through that and we get to the actual game week, there's really no surprises. And for some of the new guys on staff too that haven't been through a season, a normal in-season practice schedule, we want to do that as well.
Hey, Avalos mentioned Blake Whitlock before the season. Rid mentioned him yesterday. Can you tell us a little bit about him? I think did you get him as a walk-on? It seems like a guy who's...
Yeah, he walked on. A good guy. and I've got the chance to get to know him more. He came in the summer, so we got a chance to be around him a little bit, but honestly still, an unknown. And we know him and all that, but I think he's done some really good things. We felt like when he got here, didn't know any idea if he could play, but he could run, and he moved around well. He seemed to fit in, and guys liked him. Then you get him on the field, and he can play. So what that means right now, that just means we have a new face that's done a good job. I don't know if he's at the level he needs to be at this point, but he's certainly putting himself in a position to contribute. And special teams usually is the fastest way when you don't know everything scheme-wise to get on the field.
With left tackle, I know you were joking about that, but that is a position where, depending on that battle, could affect center or some other spots. Where are you with the battle of left tackle there, and how do you feel about the line?
Yeah, we're not done yet. Will Adams, Archie Lewis, those guys have been, and again, with the O-line, I say that position, it's not like it's just been those two that have been battling. We moved the O-line around. If you guys remember going back to one year, we had 11 different combinations, right? So just that history for us offensively, we try to mix and match. But the left tackle position, I feel like inside, pretty solid. I think Mario did well today. I got to go watch the tape, but he felt like he practiced well and scrimmaged well out there at right tackle. So I think that's hopefully what happened, and we'll go watch that. But still, until we get through the tape, I think guys have put themselves in a position, but we got to solidify that here in the next couple of days at left tackle.
Aside from Mason, that's a pretty veteran group. I mean, even with Will and the experience he has, and Archie with 13 starts, I mean, you got to feel pretty good overall about the experience level in that group.
Yeah, I do. I still think the execution, you're always looking at that, but as far as the maturity of the group, they don't get rattled a whole lot. And we're certainly working on getting better, but they stick together, they have played, they got experience, and when things come up that aren't positive, there's a negative situation, they seem to respond. I've seen that through camp. So to me, that's something for us. That's kind of what we're preparing for is the negative. How do we respond to that? And those guys have done a good job.
At the stud, you mentioned Sam Whitney and Jabril. Gabe still a factor in there, or Sam really just kind of stepped up?
No, Gabe's in there as well. Mm-hmm. Gabe's been out a couple practices. He'll get himself back in the mix. Certainly a factor in there. Sam has moved around on both sides, but a new face over in that area, and keeping guys understanding the concepts. So if we want to move some packages around, I think that Coach Caldwell and Coach Avalos have done a good job with the D-line of moving guys around. It's a little bit like the O-line now. What are the best combinations? Sometimes you don't want to just set yourself in stone and say this is exactly where they play. I mean, you could put Gabe Perez over to 5 technique, and he's pretty effective. So we're still looking for that right combination. And Sam Whitney, about him, he gives you the flexibility because he's smart to kind of move from one side to the other.
Any update separation on the number 2 back spot behind Jeremy?
You know what? I'll know more after today. There were some good things. McNichols got some good pops today. That was the goal. We ran the ball more in this scrimmage than we did the first time, purposely, so he could have some carries and go out there and take some live shots. I thought Devin Demas, from what I saw on the field, he ran hard today. Alexander Madison was impressive today too. Robert Mahone, with that crew, some of the young guys, he ran hard. I don't know how effective we were, but he did run hard. And so to be fair, we got to go back and watch that tape because some of it is, guys blocking a little bit better. But I think those 2 young backs have done a really good job. And Ryan Wolpen today was pretty impressive. I don't know all the stats that he had right now, but he was in the pass game protecting, and he had a few good runs in there too. So that's going to be interesting when we pop on the tape, who that's going to be kind of walking out of tonight going into Sunday or Saturday's practice.
With just a couple of weeks left preparation, is there an area or two that you look at and you think you need to get better at, something that might need a little more focus over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, not one in particular, really everything. Now what happens is we've absolutely overloaded with scheme. I think we've done a really good job coaching technique, but the scheme overload now is we maxed, all right? And so we have to pull back. And so when we do that, then we'll find out, exactly here probably in the next 2 practices when we pull back and start really game planning, all right, where are the issues? Because right now we just have so much on them. Now we'll get to see their technique, fundamentals, and communications all set in.